Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. So why does the Alaska Prepper think it's a good idea to hold some gold in order to preserve your wealth and bring your purchasing power to the future? Well, I'm going to tell you, all right, here in a few minutes. First, I want to go over a few things. I found a couple really short articles that I wanted to go over with you guys covering this subject matter. And I'm going to give you some statistics that are very good statistics, and he's going to explain to you, especially if you're not in the know about gold. Ladies and gentlemen, gold is not a barbarous relic like it's been said to be by some bankers. All right, gold and silver is what I call the banker's kryptonite. Okay, I think bankers are more afraid about gold and silver than probably anything else, because they understand that if the population realizes that gold and silver are real money and real assets to have, and that paper or digital currency is just that, is more of a fiat currency. And what I mean by digital currency is like the dollar, but in the digital form. And what I mean by paper is like the dollars that you carry in your pockets in the physical form. When the mass population rises and realizes that gold is real money and that fiat currency is nothing but a hoax of what real money should be, they're afraid that the population will want to revert back to a system of real money where alchemy cannot be performed by any governments. Okay, imagine that, ladies and gentlemen. Centuries ago, there were kings trying to figure out, or getting people, chemists and scientists, trying to figure out how to make gold. You know, how to actually make it, not how to mine it, but how to make it. That's alchemy, right? Today we have the same thing, but how they perform alchemy is they make wealth out of nothing. They print paper dollars out of thin air, and then the first few people that are able to spend those newly, freshly printed paper dollars are the only ones that actually gain something. Everyone else is made poorer. Okay, so I took out my little stash here. I had to go and dig it out. So I don't really keep this anywhere easy to get to for someone. However, I just wanted to show you it's not a lot. It's only a little bit. This has taken me years. I only purchase real small. I only purchase real small pieces. Okay, I'll show you one of my little Canadians close up if I can get it over here. All right, and it's such a beautiful little coin. Okay, I hope you can see that. But I only purchase small pieces. I have 10th ounces. All right, and this is the one with the kangaroo on it. I believe this is from the Perth Mint. Okay, but I don't like to purchase big amounts, and I consider anything over a ½ ounce a big amount, because I'm purchasing these things so that in the future, if something does happen, that I can have some insurance against my wealth. I can be able to bring some of my wealth over to the future and some of my purchasing power over to the future. And I'm going to show you how these little gold coins, they maintain their purchasing power over time. Okay, and like I said, I get small ones. I have 10th ounces. Okay, these back here, these are also from the Perth Mint, and these are 1 gram bars. I'm not sure if that's going to focus in on you there, but there you go. These are 1 gram bars. All right. The only problem that I have with the 1 gram bars and the 10th ounce coins is that the premium on them is pretty high. And I understand why the premium is high, is because it takes probably just about as much energy to create a 10th ounce coin than it does to create a 1 ounce coin. So it's going to have a higher premium, and that's okay. All right. So like I was saying before, I didn't go out and buy this yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. I've been collecting these for several years. Every once in a while, I will grab one of these. I feel that silver is going to outperform gold on a percentage basis. However, history has taught us that gold normally outperforms the inflation in any inflationary crisis that we've had. Like, for example, the closest one that we've had so far is Venezuela. Gold outperformed inflation in Venezuela by leaps and bounds. Right? Silver did very well as well. Silver was able to maintain its purchasing power, and then even better than that. However, gold actually outperformed silver in Venezuela as far as the inflation goes over there. Okay, if you look back in time, same thing. Gold usually outperforms inflation more than silver does. This time, I'm not saying that silver during our next crisis, which I think we will eventually have a very big economic crisis. Okay, that's just how I feel. All right. During the next crisis, I think that silver will do better than gold on a percentage basis. And the reason I say that is because the silver to gold ratio, for those of you that don't know this, naturally, meaning that the ratio at which silver and gold come out of the ground is usually, for every 1 ounce of gold that comes out of the ground, it's about 9 to 9.5 ounces of silver that comes out of the ground. Okay, that's right now. Historically, it's been around 15 to 1. Okay, and right now, silver is about at a ratio of about 85 or so to 1 ounce of gold. So the silver to gold ratio has really been manipulated apart. And that's because the powers that be cannot allow this silver thing that you see here. They cannot allow this to reach its natural nominal valuation. If they allow this to reach its natural nominal valuation, there won't be a dollar. Okay? So that's another point I want to make right quick. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, remember that I'm telling you what I do. I am absolutely not a financial advisor at all. Okay? So please do your own diligence and decide what you want to do, through your own research, of course. However, like I was saying, if you can't afford to buy one of these coins every once in a while, all right? These coins right now are going for roughly $130 a piece, okay? If you can't afford to buy one of those, buy one of these. One of these right now are going anywhere between 15, 16 bucks. All right? And let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that one of these coins right here, today in Venezuela, can feed a family for about a month, if not more. I would say at least a month, if not more. One of these coins right here. Okay, so take heed to that warning as well. All right, that right now, somewhere in the world, people are actually surviving. People that have this are actually surviving a lot better than other people because they had the forethought to get some of these. All right. So I'm not telling you which one to get. I'm just showing you that it is good to be a little bit diversified. Okay, so I wanted to read to you real quick. I've got a couple articles here, and I'll leave the links to these if you guys want to take a look at them. But the first one, it says 10 lessons from people who lived through the Great Depression. And I'm just going to read what the lessons are. I'm not going to go into the story mode. All right. So it says here the first lesson is to grow your own food. And that is a great lesson to push forward. Okay. The second one is to use just cash and don't take anything out on credit. Don't purchase anything out on credit. Right? And of course, back then, they could say that because back then, cash was gold and silver. Now, even if you have dollar bills, that's in a way credit. In a way, that's a debt as well. Right? It's just a debt that you're hoping that someone else will accept from you to give you what you want in return. It says here that if you have to move, move. If you have to move to look for work, then move. Don't just stay stagnant. Again, it says keep morale high. All right. It also says that one of the lessons is to know a deal when you see it. So, for example, I've said oftentimes that if I go into a store looking for one thing, but I see a great deal on something else that I know I can use. Maybe I don't need that something else right there and then, but I know I can use this and I will use this in the future. If it's a great deal, take advantage of it. And that is actually a good lesson. It says diversify and build. And it says stick together. Okay, so the one thing that I don't see on this article here, they don't say on this article, have gold and silver. Okay, so in order for you to understand what it is that you need to do, you have to diversify your method of information collection. Okay, so, and that's what channels like these on YouTube are good. That's why they are good, because you're getting different points of views from different people in different parts of their lives throughout different parts of the country and or the world. All right, so YouTube is a great thing, and the internet is a great thing in that it allows you to diversify the information that you're getting. You can get information in several different ways, and you can choose which way is the best for you to get information. Okay, but that's the one thing that I noticed about this article is that there's nothing here saying that you should have some gold or silver. All right, and I'm going to tell you why that's important here in a minute. All right, I did a little calculation that I think you'll be pretty interested in. All right, here, so I found another article here that's not too old. It's actually from February of this year, and it says 8 reasons to own gold. All right, and I'm going to tell you one of the things that I don't agree with in this right here, and I'm just going to tell you the highlights. Okay, so let me see. Gold has a history of holding its value. Hold gold because it is a hedge against the weakness of the US dollar. And that's pretty much right there. That's pretty much, you know, the main reason to hold gold. It shouldn't be as an investment. It should be a hedge against two things. It should be a hedge against the dominant world currency or world reserve currency. And it should be a hedge against governments. Okay? Another reason for inflation. Okay, and it says here, gold has historically been an excellent hedge against inflation, right? Because its price tends to rise when the cost of living increases, right? Deflation, a period in which prices decrease, business activity slows, and the economy is burdened by excessive debt, has not been seen globally since the Great Depression in the 30s. During that time, the relative purchasing power of gold soared, while other prices dropped sharply. Okay, so gold is good in deflation or inflation, all right? Okay, so let me explain this really quick because I think this is important. You'll hear some people out there saying, like Harry Dent, okay, who is a very smart economist, saying that gold is going to go down to $700 an ounce. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter what gold is, all right? Because even during the Great Depression, during a period of deflation, deflation means that the prices of assets, the nominal price, all right, the dollar price of assets go down, right? So usually deflation is a cause created by less money in the system. So if you have less money in the system, then you have less money to spend on goods and items, right? And so then if you have less money to spend on things, that means that the market is going to have to adjust to the less amount of money flowing around in the market, and in turn prices will come down. So even if the price of gold comes down during a deflationary depression or crisis, more than likely the price of everything else will come down a lot more than what the price of gold came down. Therefore, the price of gold will still have had maintained its purchasing power and probably more so than before. Okay, I hope that made sense. Geopolitical uncertainty, and there you go, like I said, a hedge against governments. Supply constraints, increasing demand, portfolio diversification, and that's a great one. Okay, so those are the 8 reasons to own gold according to this article. And like I said, I'll leave the link of these 2 articles if you guys want to read it. But I wanted to go ahead and show you, and this is something you can look up, all right? It's not something that I made up, but I wanted to go ahead and show you all how gold keeps its purchasing power over time with a very simple, what do you call it? With a very simple test, all right? You can very simply look this up. So I got on the internet, and I went ahead and I looked at what the price of gold was back in 1971. Now, why did I choose the year 1971? The reason I chose that year is because in 1971 is when the United States decided to decouple the dollar from gold. Prior to August 15th, 1971, all right, which was the date that Nixon got on TV and said, we are no longer backing the dollar with gold, pretty much, right? Paraphrasing it. Prior to that, oh man, I think I lost my train of thought. Okay, yes, prior to 1971, prior to the decoupling of gold from the dollar, we were on what was called the Bretton Woods system, which was started back in the year 1944, all right, after World War II. And the Bretton Woods system said that the dollar will be backed up by a minimum of 40% gold. So for every dollar, at least 40% of that dollar was backed up by gold. That was the Bretton Woods system, right? And then in 1971, Nixon took us off of it. So the reason I chose 1971 is because it was the last year that the dollar had anything to do with gold, okay? As far as gold's nominal value in dollars, okay? So in 1971, okay, we're comparing values here and preservation of purchasing power, okay? In 1971, the stock market was at 890 points, okay? So remember this. In 1971, gold was at $44.60. In 1971, the stock market was at 890 points, okay? Now, if you fast forward to 2018, the gold price today is roughly $1,220 or so. Okay, I could be off by a few dollars, but let's say $1,220 to make it simple. Okay, so if you divide $44.60 into $1,220, you come up with roughly 28 times. That means that nominally, in dollar terms, the value of gold has risen from $44.60, all right, in 1971 to $1,220 today. Okay, that's a 28-time increase. All right. Now, how good would you have done if you would have put your money in gold back in 1971, or if you would have invested in the stock market? Okay, now, in 1971, the stock market was at 890 points. And today, I think I used 24,500. All right, so it's roughly 24,500, 25,000. I don't look at the stock market every day, but I think the last time I saw it was between 24,000 and 25,000. So I think for this example, I used 24,500. All right, so if you divide 890 points, which is what the stock market was back in 1971, if you divide that into roughly 24,500, you get 28. Ladies and gentlemen, you get 28. The same number that you get for gold. All right. The only difference is this. All right. So gold has gone up in value, nominal value. All right. Since 1971, 28 times. The stock market has gone up in nominal terms since 1971, 28 times. So some of you may be saying, well, that is good then, that the stock market is doing just as good as gold. The only problem is, ladies and gentlemen, is that gold will always be there if you need it. Only if you hold it physically. All right? Only if you hold it physically. If you hold this in your hand, it's always going to be there. The stock market, like has happened several times throughout history, can go poof. The stock market can lose value very quickly in one day. Okay? So, since 1971, both gold and the stock market have risen roughly 28 times each. I think it was like 27.5 or something like that, but I rounded it up. Right? So they have both risen up equally in number of how many times their past value to today's current value. Okay? So what would you rather have? Would you rather have something that has proven since the beginning of time, granted, to hold its purchasing power, or would you rather have something that you think you own that is on paper or on a computer screen in the form of digits that someone else is entrusted with? All right? So that's the question you have to ask yourselves before you decide to hedge some of your wealth against the dollar, against the government, with precious metals, i.e. gold or silver. Okay? That concludes my very minor presentation. So final point is that I will always trust this. This will always guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually something I can guarantee you. This is always going to be here. This will be here well after I'm gone. It may not be in this form, all right? It may be something else. 100 years from now, someone may find this and melt it and do something else with it, all right? But this will always be here. It'll be here well after we're gone. And take one of these and bury it alongside one of these and check in 5 years and see which one of these is still there. I would be willing to bet that this will have deteriorated and been sucked up by the earth, and it's now feeding roses or feeding whatever flowers or grains may be growing in that area, where this will still be there. This is real, ladies and gentlemen. This is real. This is real. Let me show you my very favorite coin. My favorite 10th ouncer. It's a proof gold eagle. A 10th ouncer, of course. That's real. This is really an illusion. This is something that someone said, this is what we're going to use for money. So now it's got value. When in reality, it only has the value that someone else thinks it has. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it. I hope that you got something out of this little presentation. If you did, I'd appreciate if you gave the video a thumbs up. If you are interested in purchasing some precious metals, I do have a link to SD Bullion, and they do give the channel, the Alaska Prepper community, a kickback for everyone that goes there and registers with them and purchases from their site. So if you are interested in that, I'd appreciate it if you used the link that I've got below. In addition to that, now that the holidays are approaching, I'd appreciate it if you all took a look at your shopping through my Amazon link. It doesn't cost you guys any more to use the link, and it does help out the community. So thank you, everyone. Oh, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, since you're already here, let me show you my vanilla update. Look at that. It's already starting to get nice and dark. So for those of you that saw my video a few days ago where I was doing this with the vodka, that's what it's looking like right now. Right? Still has a little more to go, but it's looking really good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end it at that. So remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.